at Rams training camp in Irvine, California. I'm Lindsey Thiry with the Los Angeles Times, joined by my coworker Klein, and we have a special guest from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Jim Thomas. You've been covering the Rams for 20 years, more than 20 years, I should say. You came to Los Angeles to see the team. What are your thoughts here at this event as they open training camp?
Well, first off, 431 is the magic number. That's how many games I covered in St. Louis.
Wow.
Preseason, regular season, playoffs. But who's counting, right?
Did you get a parting gift?
No. I guess getting a trip to Southern California is a parting gift. It's a little bit cooler and a lot less humid than it is in St. Louis right now. But no, it's great to be out here. I wish it were under different circumstances. Obviously, this is a tough time for football fans in St. Louis, but the crowds have been great. The enthusiasm has been great, and, St. Louis's loss is LA's game.
Well, what about that, Jim? Like you said, obviously, football fans in St. Louis are angry at the Rams, or a portion of them are. They're not necessarily angry at the players or coaches. They didn't have anything to do with this. But what's kind of the sense you get? You're out here to relay what's happening. Is there still an appetite, do you think, for Rams coverage in the Midwest?
By some, but a lot of fans are still angered. And I think what happened is with the start of training camp, with the games just around the corner, a lot of the fans, it's kind of opened up the old feelings again. They're like, oh my gosh, we don't have a football team. We're not going to have football games to go to this year. So a lot of fans are still angry, and you're right, Gary. They're not angry at Jeff Fisher. Well, maybe a little bit over the one-loss record, right? But no. But they're not angry at the players. Like fans anywhere. They think a lot for the players, but they're angry at Stan Kroenke and the league, and to a small degree, some of the local civic leaders and politicians for letting the team get out of town.
Now, Jim, you brought up the win-loss record. This team's gone 12 seasons without making a playoff appearance. Nobody here is going to know this is LA. People do care about winners.
Do they? They booed Jared Goff yesterday.
Yeah, day one, Jared Goff intercepted.
After 20 passes, they're already booing him. Yeah,
that's the reality in Los Angeles. This coaching staff, though, they don't get a new record coming to LA. What's kind of the status there with Les Snead as the general manager, Jeff Fisher as the coach in his 5th season?
Well, they're both in lame duck seasons now. Their contracts were up after this year. We've heard some rumblings about possible extensions for both of them, but that hasn't happened. And usually those kind of things, once you get into camp, once you get into the ebb and flow, the intensity of the season, and it'll only pick up once we start playing games, even preseason games, usually don't see extensions. So I just wonder if they're just going to let this ride and play out. And you know what? Even if they get extensions, if this team goes 2-14 or something this year, you'd find I'd be hard pressed to believe that they'll be back.
And finally, Jim, NFL back in LA for the first time in 20 years. The league has changed a lot since the Rams were here. But coming back with a 7-9 record, there's been talk by some we hear the Rams are not that far. They're not far from getting over the hump. All they needed was a quarterback. What's the reality of the situation going into this season as you see it? Are they a playoff-capable team? Are they going to be middling again, or are they going to be terrible?
Well, I think they'd be hard-pressed to make the playoffs. I mean, stranger things have happened. I thought the last 2 seasons the Rams were on the cusp of being a playoff team. To a large degree, it's not the only reason, but to a large degree, the quarterback play has been what's held them back. That Jeff Fisher, one of the big reasons he came to St. Louis, remember Miami was in hot pursuit, was because of Sam Bradford. We all know how that turned out. But so now, bold move up to get Jared Goff. You at least have to give the Rams credit for trying to get a quarterback. But I don't see quite as much depth on this team, really on both sides of the ball, that I did last year. And a lot is in Goff's hands. Unless the defense, they've really flirted with being a top 10 team in defense, but they haven't quite gotten there. If the defense can reach that top 10 status, I think Todd Gurley is going to have another fantastic season. Then maybe they can contend. But whether it's Case Keenum or Jared Goff, it's hard, at least this year, to see the quarterback play being enough.
Jim, thanks for coming out to Los Angeles.
Very much.
And hopefully you had some In-N-Out burger.
Not yet. Is there one nearby?
Get some on your way back to the airport.
All right.